final segment of the show. The topic again is the Metro landfill issue, and we're talking to Councilperson THarper and community activist Wilmer Springs. And Mrs. Springs, before we had our final break, we wanted to find out some of the alternatives to the Metro landfill, assuming that we cannot select one of the other sites of the 4 areas and that the Bordeaux landfill is closed. What do we see as an alternative?
What we need as an alternative is a comprehensive recycling plan that will include waste reduction. Generally, you do that by having people become consciously aware of the products they buy, and decrease paper wrapping. Okay, we also need to think in terms of biodegradable products. We need the new technology that will use the plastic containers and recycle them. And also, in our recycling plan, we need to have composting. We need to have plastics, and we need to have a plastic compartment, and we need to have newspaper print. Now, at this time, newspaper print is not even sellable, but that's the biggest portion of your garbage pickup. So comprehensive programs need to be established so these products can be used.
Very good. Ms. Harper, what has the Metro Council or what has the government done in reference to trying to establish some kind of comprehensive program to deal with the refuse question?
I think if you monitor the budgetary hearings back in June, one of the issues that was before us was increase of the dumping fee, and it has been deferred on since that time, because part of the plan was, as we increased the amount of the dumping fee from $3 to $6, there was a proposal for $1 to buy the rollout trash can.
Trash can.
And of course that we found was illegal and could not be done. And it has been deferred continuously, the increment in the dumping fee. We are waiting on the executive branch of government and Public Works to come up with a massive, comprehensive solid waste management plan. That hasn't come forth yet. And I think additionally, if you have been monitoring what's going on, there's a proposal to buy a plant, a solid waste management plant out of Austin, Texas. And this is something that has been discussed, you know, at least for the last 2 years. Austin, Texas residents refused. Number one, they bought it, paid for it, but what they did was turn those persons who bought it and paid for it out of office because they found that it was not what they needed, was not in their best interest. Of course, we're proposing to buy that and to locate it more than likely in Carcobene, and it is part of the solid waste management proposal. As we talk about, one of the things that Mrs. Springs talked about was buying biodegradable products. I think one of the things we need to do even before that is talk to the manufacturers, because as long as goods are packaged in containers that are not biodegradable, we're still where we started. You know, anytime you bury something and 20 years from that date you dig it up, it's still there. So I think we need to start talking to manufacturers to see if we can get them to acquiesce. That helps us along in addition to recycling. Now, we've started some recycling, and then there's voluntary recycling. This community is very much aware of what the needs are. We, I think, probably as a legislative body and as the executive branch, have kind of vacillated backwards and forth and have not really given them the kind of leadership that they've needed in the solid waste management. A bill to alter the charter, which provides that to alter an ordinance that was passed earlier that garbage be picked up at back door. Now,
let's talk about that.
Now the law is that your garbage must be carried to the curbside, and it will be picked up once per week.
Now, what's the advantage?